So when I truly plan out campaigns, and this is where it gets really important, one of the biggest mistakes that I find that people make are they just pick up the video camera and they hit record, and they don't give it proper thought on what the purpose of the video is and why they're creating the content and who their audience is. And they're missing a true opportunity to make the video from a decent video to a better, or even the best type of video you can actually create. And at the end of the day, the more preparation and planning and following a formula, which I'm going to share this formula with you. This is something I'm going to share with you today. You're able to really make better content that engages with people, and it causes them to take action. So here's the 8 things I ask before I get started with any content marketing. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a Facebook post. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a tweet. But mostly we're going to look at it for video content. Why, this is the first one, why am I going to make the content? You've got to be very specific why you're making the content. Now, with making content, people will say, well, I just want to get my message out. Well, there's a purpose behind getting your message out. And let's kind of break that down. The purpose is the area that you really need to look at putting out content. So each video, each piece of content should have a specific purpose behind why you're making that content. So here is the purpose of making content. And this is going to be more leaning towards video content. But number one, it's building awareness. Like, content online is about awareness, and that's one of the main purposes of it. Now, with video and the way you engage with video, you can build awareness and have it spread organically where people are sharing and engaging with it on an emotional level. 2, influencing consideration. That's a big one, and I don't think people realize what this is to the depth that they should. But to really truly influence someone's decisions, video is the most powerful way to do it. And so if you're trying to get someone to look at an issue in a specific way, you need to figure out, well, this is to influence them to consider making a decision differently than they're currently believing in their own mind right now. And so that's something that you need to identify. First off, why are you making the video? Well, branding awareness, influencing consideration, and then driving online and offline sales. Now, I know that there's a ton of people that would say, well, I want to do all 3. And I'm going to tell you today, you don't want to do that. You want to be very specific of what the purpose of your content is. And lastly, it's like growing loyalty, which is re-engaging with your community and touching them in a way that they are interested in what you're actually doing. So here are the 4 different types of actually making content, especially video content, and you would fall in one of these buckets. Now, the bucket that you're falling into, you need to look very specifically on the next questions that we're going to actually talk about. The next one is, after you understand who your video content's for, you look out for your competition, okay? So you understand your purpose, look at your competition, see what your competition's doing, and then I want you to ask the question, is this, are they really competitors? Are they really competitors? Because we live in a world with in a world of collaboration. We live in a world of ways that we can actually share and help each other and expand. And I'm here to tell you, even down to the Squatty Potty. Like, I have an agency, and this is what we do. I partnered up with another agency, and we did that ad for a specific customer. Collaboration is key because there are certain people that have given talents and abilities, or they might have assets that you're able to use. And a lot of JVs, like, that's why I look at it. This is why I love this group, is because you look for opportunities to partner and to share and to help. And that's what you need to look at as well. Next is, who are you trying to reach with your content? This is one that I spend a lot of time trying to figure out, who is the individual that you're trying to reach. Now, to make it a little bit deeper and to help you understand to engage with that person on an emotional level, I like to think of a person that I personally know, and I try to figure out, is this the type of person that would engage with this content? So give you a specific example. In doing a new project, we're going after basically viewers on YouTube that are teenage boys, and they want to engage with the YouTube content. Well, I got 4 boys, and so I'm trying to figure out what resonates well with one versus the other, and I'm trying to figure out what's going to kind of get them to laugh, get them to be more engaged in the content, and I'm able to see it. So the clearer that I have who's actually going to be watching the content, the easier it is for me to make content in the future for those individuals. And so understanding your target avatar and target viewer is key. Do not, I reiterate, do not be too broad with this. People are like, oh, I want everybody in the world to see it. Well, that's great. But with Squatty Potty, when we were doing that, we wanted to get the most engaged people. And we knew we could get a broader base of millennials because that's who we were targeting. But do you know who we were actually targeting? Bronies. If you don't know what a brony is, you look it up and you will be literally shocked that there are people out there, grown men, that love My Little Pony. Okay, but they were the most engaged. They're the ones that got it picked up in Reddit. We got on the front page of Reddit. We got a lot of exposure from that. And that's what you're trying to understand is who you're trying to reach. You got to be very specific from that so that you know how to make the difference. Now, once you understand who they are, you got to look at the core audience and your target demo. That's one of the big things that you need to look at, because that's you have your core viewer, then you have your core audience, which is surrounded by your core viewer, and then you'll start seeing some similarities that they have in the in that target demo that you're looking at as well. Now, what I like to do is next would be create value. You always have to have a value proposition. There's something that people need to engage with. Now, with content, if you just put content and videos out there and there's no value, then you are literally wasting your time. Because if you look at it from your point of view, you'll disengage with something that you don't find valuable, and you'll go on to the next thing, and that next thing might be your competitor's video or someone else's content. And so understanding what value you're going to bring and add for the consumer is really, really important. And so here's something that most of you have seen if you actually came to the event. This is one that I love to show, because there's only 3 ways you can actually bring value with video. And the type of value proposition, it's really, really important that you understand this. This is something that you should all look at and make sure that you're going into one of these buckets. So we know, oh, I'm engaging this type of viewer, and this is who I'm thinking about. How do I inspire that person? Or how do I educate that person? Or how do I entertain? Because that's the only way that they can find value in your content. You can either inspire, educate, and entertain. There's no other way to have them see value in it, for them to actually take action and help you share your message with the world. So when you have this in mind, you can be very specific in getting content that might inspire and educate at the same time, or you might entertain and educate at the same time, or you might have this golden piece of content that you're able to inspire, educate, and entertain, that you really move people on an emotional level in all areas of emotions, and they'll want to really, really engage. And there has been projects that I worked on that has definitely done this. And so at the end of the day, you got to make your content as valuable as possible, and you need to be thinking of that person in mind and try to inspire them, try to educate them, try to entertain them. That's the key. And when you can get one person and you can get dialed in, and you know when you release that piece of content, that person will engage the way that you think that they're going to do, then you have some gold. Because after that, it is very easy to get similar audiences out there and have people that would, feel the same way as this individual. And that's how things grow. Because at the end of the day, when someone finds value, they're gonna think in their mind, oh my gosh, I need to share. That's a human emotion that we do. We gotta share. We gotta share with other people once we do it. There's multiple reasons why, but let me give you an example. Anytime that one of my brothers or my sisters find anything Star Wars related, especially in the jokes arena, I get tagged in a Facebook post. I get tagged in a video because they know I like Star Wars. I will literally watch it, and they know that I will generally laugh and will engage and will have fun. And that's one of the things, is they know that it's so valuable that they're thinking of me because they want to share it with me so that we can have a social connection. And I hope that you understand that your content needs to be valuable. The next would be your core message and your tone. So tonality and messaging is important. And tonality and messaging is the key for really getting content to go to a level of true engagement, which is moving the viewer to really watch the whole thing, and you're not getting the viewer disconnected. Now, a little bit later, I'm going to give you pretty much a breakdown of what you need to do for your formula based on the type of content that you're creating, and that's something that we will give you. But the message and the tone is really key, and we've done a lot of different scenarios in the sense if you have a spokesperson or you have someone that's engaging with it, and the tone that they come across in the video can be very distracting from your message. And so you need to be able to really weigh that out. And if you're the one that is the person giving the video, doing the videos, doing the live streams, whatever it may be, the tone that you actually use is outright important on the way that you actually present your message. And so we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. The last question I always like to ask, this is the 8th question, is how are you going to deliver the content for maximum reach? Now, I am known for YouTube, but I get people every day saying, hey, Derral, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm like, well, who's your audience? This is an actual conversation. Who's your audience? Well, it's like 18-year-old to 34-year-old women, and, they're health conscious. And I really, I want this video on YouTube. I says, YouTube's not your platform. Maximum reach would be on Instagram. You should have an Instagram strategy because that content will resonate even higher than it would on YouTube. Now, you still would want a YouTube strategy. You still want to go from there, but your content needs to resonate with the platform, and you need to understand who's going to be where, okay? So then the last question is, what does success look like? I like to know exactly what the video is for. Is it let's just say it's an online sales video. Well, what does success look like? Well, success would look like we could drive traffic to our specific page. And a lot of people would say, well, then that's success, but real success is getting people to buy. And my thing is, I can tell you right now that there's so many different variables, because as soon as you send traffic away from the video onto the website, then it's the website's job to close the deal, and you can see the bounce rate. Well, maybe the website's bad. Now, one thing that you guys don't know, a part of the Squatty Body campaign, we actually have maximized their landing pages. We split tested everything, because that's what we do. And at the end of the day, we're trying to find what's going to work the best with the type of content that we're actually producing, so we can actually get that there. Now, here's an interesting note on this. Our success on that was to drive traffic for sales for Squatty Potty, but we knew the missing component would be getting that landing page to convert. And it did take us quite a bit of time to get it to convert, where we got some amazing ROI on that.